Captain Marcus is dead. I saw it with my own eyes. He threw himself off the deck. But right now, he's standing in front of me, smiling. And he says, "You will all die." In the middle of the Mediterranean, a 347-person cargo vessel, the SS Meridian. The nightmare that began at 6:47 a.m. was not just a poisonous gas attack. There is something on the ship, but it is not human. It can shapeshift. It can take the face of the person you love most, and it has one goal: to kill you all. 347 people, 24 hours, and one of them is a ghost. Part 1. Morning. The onset of the crisis. 06:47 a.m. The echo of the first death. Captain Marcus Delacroix was 58, an experienced seaman who had weathered all the storms of the sea and ships. He had been on the ocean for 30 years, and control had always been his. But this morning, when he woke up in his cabin, what he felt was an uncontrollable fear. He looked in the mirror. His face was different. For a moment, the old wrinkles transformed into the smooth features of a young man. It was like someone else's face, a brief shockwave. Then everything returned to normal. His own aged, tired face was back in the mirror. "Must be getting old. Lack of sleep," he muttered. But he wasn't at ease. This wasn't a hallucination due to fatigue. It felt like a warning. When he stepped into the corridor, he realized the warnings had already turned into a nightmare. People were lying on the floor, crew and a few passengers. Some had vomited violently. Some were rigid. Some were motionless, dead. "What's going on here?" he shouted. His voice echoed in the empty corridor. The ship's doctor, Dr. Sarah Chen, 35, an expert in infectious diseases, rushed over. Her face was chalk white, her hands were trembling, but there was determination in her eyes. "Captain, mass poisoning. At least 200 people are affected. I've never seen anything like this in my life. The symptoms are bizarre. Hemorrhagic fever, severe respiratory distress, sudden epileptic seizures, and the strangest part, mass hallucinations." "Hallucinations?" Marcus frowned. "Yes. People are saying things like they're crazy. Someone saw living shadows on the wall. Another claims they saw and spoke to their mother who died 20 years ago. Captain, this isn't just a physical poison. It's directly targeting the thalamus and prefrontal cortex. It's affecting the brain. Panic is spreading fast." The captain grabbed the radio. His hand was shaking. "Mayday, Mayday. This is the SS Meridian. We are in the middle of the Mediterranean. Coordinates 34 degrees, 52 minutes north. 26 degrees, 15 minutes east. Emergency on board. 347 people, 200 poisoned. Immediate assistance." The radio was cut off by a sudden burst of static. Not just static, but a muffled human voice. Then a strange metallic sound came through, like a hiss, like a whisper, as if something inside the radio was speaking. "No help will come, Marcus, because you will all die here. Not even your captain can save you." The captain dropped the radio. The voice was his own. Marcus hadn't spoken, but the tone was his own deep authority. 07:15 a.m. Chemical and biological threat. The ship's chief engineer, Viktor Grigorovich, in his 50s, Russian-born with nerves of steel, came out of the engine room, sweaty and furious. He held a gas measuring device. The reading was a critical red alert. "Captain, there's chemical gas in the ventilation system. Some kind of toxic substance has been released. But this is very strange. The measurements are inconsistent." "Inconsistent how?" "The gas level is fluctuating. It's as if it's breathing, moving from one place to another. High in the engine room one minute, on the passenger deck the next. This defies known gas dynamics and the laws of physics. The ventilation system was immediately shut down. Victor and his team deployed the carbon dioxide extinguishing system, but it was already too late. The gas had spread throughout the ship into its deepest chambers. Dr. Chen performed blood tests on the unpoisoned survivors. When the results came in, her face went white. "Captain, this isn't a chemical, it's a biological agent. Creosin mine, military-grade biological weapon. It collapses the nervous system and coagulates the blood." But that's not all. In the blood samples, there is a strange component I have never encountered before. An unidentified protein molecule. Its structure doesn't resemble any organism on Earth. What do you mean? I mean, this is not a man-made weapon, or at least not entirely man-made. The presence of this protein suggests the poison was released or modified by a living carrier.
8 a.m. Security footage and first suspicion. The ship's security chief, James Thornton, a former military man in his 40s, cautious and paranoid, was reviewing the security camera footage. The recordings could show how the poison was released into the ventilation system. Around 5 a.m., nobody in the corridors. Everything appeared normal. A little later, about 15 minutes later, a long dark shadow passed in front of the main ventilation shaft. The camera lens blurred momentarily as if an icy breath had been exhaled onto it. Immediately after, the shadow was gone, but the ventilation cover had been forced open, its steel hinges bent. A short while later, gas, in the form of a slow mist, began to spread from the hatch. James watched the recording again and again. The shadow, it didn't look human. It was very tall, perhaps 2.5 meters, and its movement was strangely fluid, as if it were moving like a liquid. "Captain, I think this is an inside job, a saboteur, but the method used is superhuman." "Who would do this? Why?" "I don't know, but we have 347 people on board. Crew, passengers, cargo personnel. We have 247 unpoisoned people left. We need to find out who it is. We must impose an immediate quarantine and interrogate everyone." But the real problem was deeper. This was no longer a poisoning case. It was a game of murder and survival. 9 a.m. The captain's second appearance, confronting the ghost. Dr. Chen was in the infirmary, working with the few surviving crew members on an antidote formula. Her concentration was high. Suddenly, the door opened. Captain Marcus Delacroix walked in. "Captain, thank goodness you're here. People are in terrible shape. Some were beginning to breathe their last. We're trying for an antidote, but—" "They will all die," the captain said. His voice was cold, monotonous, like an emotionless recording. Dr. Chen stopped. Her heart pounded in her chest. What did you say, Captain?" The captain smiled, but his smile wasn't normal. It was too wide. It exposed sharp teeth. It was as if the human face was a sticky mask struggling to contain that smile. "I said, you will all die. Within 24 hours. There is no antidote. There is no escape. The ocean will take you all." "Captain, are you all right? Are you under the influence of the poison?" The captain took a step closer. His eyes, they were glowing strangely, as if there was a phosphorescent light burning within them. "I am not the captain, Sarah. I am something much older. I am a consciousness that can enter any body on this ship, and I love my current vessel." Dr. Chen backed away quickly. Her heart was racing. She reached for the security alarm. Just then the door opened again. The real Captain Marcus Delacroix walked in, sweaty, anxious, holding the radio. The same captain, two captains facing each other. The first captain, the fake one, began to laugh. His voice sounded like chalk screeching on a blackboard. Then, he slowly began to shapeshift. The mask on his face was melting. His body was elongating. Muscles were liquefying. The light in his eyes went out, and finally, there was no one in the middle of the room, just a dark, dense, shadowy mass, and that shadow quickly slid towards the corner of the room, towards the ventilation grate. It merged with the wall. It vanished. The second captain, the real Marcus, looked at Sarah in horror. What just happened? Who was that? He looked like me. Sarah was trembling. She could barely speak. He was you, but he wasn't you. He was an imitator.
Part 2. Who is the ghost? 10 a.m. Emergency meeting and the curse theory. The captain gathered all senior officers in the ship's most secure area, the mess hall. Only Dr. Chen, Engineer Victor, Security Chief James, and Ship Officer Elena Rodriguez, 28 years old, Naval Academy graduate, ambitious, were inside. The doors were locked from the inside. "Listen to me," the captain said. His voice was stern, trying to suppress his fear. "Something extraordinary, something illogical is happening on this ship. Dr. Chen saw something, and I have to believe her. This is no longer sabotage. This is a hunt." Sarah recounted what had happened in a shaky voice. The others looked on with shock and suspicion. "That's impossible," Victor said. "A human cannot shapeshift. My machines must obey the laws of nature. This must too." "But I saw it," Sarah insisted. "There were two captains. One wasn't real, and the poison in the ventilation system has a living protein. This is not normal." James leaned forward. His eyes narrowed. He looked at them with the suspicion of a former soldier. "Let's assume this is true. Let's assume there is a paranormal entity on board, a shadow entity. Then the question is, why? Why is it trying to kill us? Why is it using poison?" Elena spoke. Her voice was calm, but her anxiety was visible in her eyes. "Perhaps we are carrying something. The poisoning is a means. The spirit's main goal is the cargo. What's in the cargo hold?" The captain looked at the cargo manifests on the table. Ordinary goods, textiles, electronics, food, and one very special cargo, museum artifacts, ancient relics, taken from Cairo, heading to the London Museum. Egypt? Dr. Chen's eyes widened. In ancient Egypt, spirits and ghosts were a major belief system. Especially the pharaoh's tombs were cursed. If something was stolen from a tomb, then the spirit comes after the stolen item, James finished, with a tone of irony. An old legend, but legends don't come true. Just then, the lights went out. Even the sound of the generator's engine was muffled. Complete darkness. Then they came back on. But something had changed in the room. Elena Rodriguez's face was different for a split second. Her eyes were blood red, and the wedding ring she normally wore was missing from her finger. "Legends do come true," it said. The voice was Elena's, but the timbre was different, deeper, more ancient. If the curse is strong enough, it can control the body itself. Then Elena, or the thing that looked like Elena, walked calmly. It shattered the mess hall window with an invisible force and threw itself into the dark waters of the Mediterranean. Everyone ran. They looked out the window. But Elena was not outside. There was nothing in the sea. Then a voice came from behind them. Elena's voice. "Are you looking for something?" They turned. Elena was standing by the door. Her face was normal. Her eyes were normal. Her wedding ring was back on her finger.
What happened? Why are you all looking at me like that? Why did the lights go out? 11:30 a.m. Descent into the cargo hold. Khenemu's sarcophagus. The captain and James, armed with 2 MP5 rifles each and flashlights, descended into the deepest level of the cargo hold. It was a massive labyrinth, hundreds of containers. Special cargo, James said, according to the manifest, in a temperature and humidity-controlled compartment. At the very back, there were 2 steel doors and a special keypad. They entered the code. The door hissed open. Inside, in the dim light, were stone tablets, statues, and vases, all in specialized crates. But right in the center, secured with metal supports, was a giant stone sarcophagus, about 3 meters long. "What is this?" the captain asked. A shiver ran through him. James looked at his tablet computer. "It's going to the London Museum. The sarcophagus of an ancient Egyptian priest. The coffin of Khnemu, 3,000 years old. It contains his mummy, recently excavated." The captain approached the sarcophagus. Complex hieroglyphs covered it. Some carried images of wrath and curses. "What do these say? Can you translate them all?"
James read the copy provided in the manifest, his voice shaky. "This is the tomb of Khnemu. He is the oracle of the god of death. He can carry the souls of the deceased between bodies. He who wakes him shall be subject to the deepest curse. He shall enter all bodies, devour all souls, and end all life. Within 24 hours, all will be his." The captain's blood ran cold. This was the exact voice Dr. Chen had sensed, the voice he had heard on the radio. So, the thing on the ship is the spirit of Khnemu? The shape-shifting, poison-releasing ghost? If the legend is true, yes. And it even gave the time of the curse. Just then the sarcophagus trembled slightly, with an audible sound. Then, the marble surface of the lid seemed to slide open by half a centimeter. Both men backed away. Their breath was caught in their throats. "Let's go. Now. Now." They ran out. They locked the door, even reinforcing it with electric clamps. But from inside came a light, dry, millennia-old laughter. Part 3. The Secret of the Slave Woman. 12 p.m. Last Hope. Amara. Dr. Chen, under the captain's instructions, went down to the area where undocumented migrants were secretly traveling in the ship's hold. There were 30 people there, all terrified by the horror of the poisoning. Most were sick and exhausted. But in the corner sat a woman. She was chained. Her name was Amara, Ethiopian, 32 years old. Her eyes, even in the midst of this crisis, were surprisingly sharp. Amara looked at Sarah. Are you the doctor?" she asked. Her voice was deep and confident. "Yes. Why aren't you sick like them? The poison spread here too." "Because I know how to be protected. And he knows me." Sarah approached. "What do you mean? Who knows you?" "In my village we were healers, but we were also spirit cullers. We know how spirits work, how they come, how to drive them away. He, Khnemu, his name is spoken in our village too, the body eater." "The spirit on the ship is Khnemu. Do you know him?" Amara slowly nodded her head. "I know. He came last night. He visited me. He looked at me. But he couldn't take me." "Why? Amara showed her a worn, ancient amulet around her neck. It was made of animal teeth, old bones, and dried herbs. This protects me, an ancient formula. But only me. To protect all of you and stop that poison, more is needed. Khnemu uses the poison as a gateway to enter and exit the body. What is it? Tell me fast. 3 things. First, black fir leaves. It grows on the island of Samos. It repels spirits and shadows. Second, saffron stigma on the island of Chios. Must be fresh. It gives physical strength to repel the entering spirit. Third, sea bindweed, near roads, underwater. It cuts the energy that binds the spirit to the world. Her heart pounded fast. Her geographical knowledge was correct. These islands were close to their current location. Are these the antidote? No, these are just for protection, just a chance to survive. But if we are also to treat the poison and stop the spirit entirely, a 4th thing is needed. What is it? Amara looked up towards the ceiling. The sarcophagus, the mummy's heart inside. That heart is the permanent anchor of Khnumu's power. We must burn it. If we destroy it, the spirit's power will be broken. It will be forced to leave the bodies, and the poison will be neutralized. Sarah was horrified. But it's a museum artifact, part of the world's heritage, 3,000 years old. And 347 people will die. You choose. History or life? A cursed relic or more than 200 innocent people?
James read the copy provided in the manifest, his voice shaky. This is the tomb of Khnemu. He is the oracle of the god of death. He can carry the souls of the deceased between bodies. He who wakes him shall be subject to the deepest curse. He shall enter all bodies, devour all souls, and end all life. Within 24 hours, all will be his. The captain's blood ran cold. This was the exact voice Dr. Chen had sensed, the voice he had heard on the radio. So, the thing on the ship is the spirit of Khnemu? The shape-shifting, poison-releasing ghost? If the legend is true, yes. And it even gave the time of the curse. Just then the sarcophagus trembled slightly, with an audible sound. Then, the marble surface of the lid seemed to slide open by half a centimeter. Both men backed away. Their breath was caught in their throats. Let's go. Now. Now. They ran out. They locked the door, even reinforcing it with electric clamps. But from inside came a light, dry, millennia-old laughter. Part 3. The Secret of the Slave Woman. 12 p.m. Last Hope. Amara. Dr. Chen, under the captain's instructions, went down to the area where undocumented migrants were secretly traveling in the ship's hold. There were 30 people there, all terrified by the horror of the poisoning. Most were sick and exhausted. But in the corner sat a woman. She was chained. Her name was Amara, Ethiopian, 32 years old. Her eyes, even in the midst of this crisis, were surprisingly sharp. Amara looked at Sarah. Are you the doctor?" she asked. Her voice was deep and confident. "Yes. Why aren't you sick like them? The poison spread here too." "Because I know how to be protected. And he knows me." Sarah approached. "What do you mean? Who knows you?" "In my village, we were healers.
But we would also spirit colors. We know how spirits work, how they come, how to drive them away. He, Khnemu, his name is spoken in our village too, the body eater. The spirit on the ship is Khnemu. Do you know him? Amara slowly nodded her head. I know. He came last night. He visited me. He looked at me. But he couldn't take me. Why? Amara showed her a worn, ancient amulet around her neck. It was made of animal teeth, old bones, and dried herbs. This protects me, an ancient formula. But only me. To protect all of you and stop that poison, more is needed. Khnemu uses the poison as a gateway to enter and exit the body. What is it? Tell me fast. 3 things. First, black fir leaves. It grows on the island of Samos. It repels spirits and shadows. Second, saffron stigma on the island of Chios. Must be fresh. It gives physical strength to repel the entering spirit. Third, sea bindweed, near roads, underwater. It cuts the energy that binds the spirit to the world. Her heart pounded fast. Her geographical knowledge was correct. These islands were close to their current location. Are these the antidote? No, these are just for protection, just a chance to survive. But if we are also to treat the poison and stop the spirit entirely, a 4th thing is needed. What is it? Amara looked up towards the ceiling. The sarcophagus, the mummy's heart inside. That heart is the permanent anchor of Khnumu's power. We must burn it. If we destroy it, the spirit's power will be broken. It will be forced to leave the bodies, and the poison will be neutralized. Sarah was horrified. But it's a museum artifact, part of the world's heritage, 3,000 years old. And 347 people will die. You choose. History or life? A cursed relic or more than 200 innocent people?
1 p.m. The plan, divide and conquer. When the captain learned the full situation, horror and determination merged on his face. We will burn the mummy, no discussion. People's lives are more important than an old corpse, but we have to reach it. But the spirit won't allow us, James said. It will stop us when we approach the sarcophagus. It will shapeshift and mingle among us. We won't know who to trust. Amara stepped forward. Then we must act together. No one should be alone, because the spirit targets solitary individuals. If we are all together, we can figure out who is real and who is fake. We will use the trust test. How? Elena asked, curious. With questions. Ask things only you would know. Khnemu can access memories, but only superficially. It doesn't know deep memories, emotional attachments. Ask about a special memory. If it can't answer, it's Khnemu. The captain clarified the plan. We will form 3 fast teams. Each team will take the fastest boat to the nearby islands. We will collect the materials Amara mentioned and prepare the antidote mixture. First team to Samos, black fir. Second team to Chios, saffron. Third team to Rhodes, sea bindweed. This is also crucial to distract Khnemu. James, Dr. Chen, and I will stay here. We will guard the sarcophagus. Amara will be with us. If the spirit attacks us, we resist. And if any of the teams do not return. Victor asked, what if the spirit infiltrates one of the teams? How will they know? Each team will have one of Amara's amulets, small ones. They won't provide full protection,
but they will warn them if the spirit approaches. It will tremble. It will heat up. If the amulet is burning, that person is not your friend. Part 4. Triple Mission. Race Against Time. Team 1, Samos Island, Elena and crew. 2 p.m. Elena Rodriguez and 2 crew members Juan and Maria set off for Samos in the speedboat. The sky was darkening. Elena touched the amulet around her neck. It was cold. Khnemu was not nearby. 4 hours later, they arrived at the rocky shores of Samos. The island was deserted. The silence was more terrifying than the horror on the ship. They began to climb the mountain. Black fur, North Slope, high altitude, Elena muttered. Hours passed. The sun set. Darkness covered the island like a shroud. They finally found it. Dark green leaves, thorny branches, the spirit repellent known as Stygian fir. Found it, Elena shouted. Juan and Maria quickly gathered the leaves while Elena checked her amulet. It was cold. But just then, one of the crew members, Juan, said something strange. Elena, are you real? Elena turned. Her nerves were tense. What are you talking about, Juan? Stop talking nonsense. Because 5 minutes ago, you were there, between the 2 rocks. You were smiling at me. But now you're here. How can you be in 2 places at once? Elena's amulet began to tremble. It was slightly warm. Juan, are you real? What movie soundtrack did you and I listen to when we were kids? What was the name of that movie? Juan stopped. He smiled. That wide smile was on his face again. I am always real, Elena. The question is, who are you? Why are you still alive after all these deaths on the ship? Then Juan's body flickered like smoke. His face melted. Juan's body was a mask for the spirit of Khnemu, a long, shadowy, faceless figure. The spirit of Khnemu. Elena screamed. She ran, clutching the fir leaves towards the boat. The spirit was chasing her. It was fast, very fast.
Elena shouted to Maria, "Start the engine, now!" The boat started. Elena jumped in at the last moment. Khnemu, leaving Juan's body behind, reached out to her in shadow form, but the amulet glowed. Khnemu recoiled. It screamed, a terrifying shriek. The boat sped away. Elena looked back. She could see Juan. He was standing on the beach, his body lifeless. Juan was gone. Khnemu had used his body and taken his soul. Team 2, Chios Island, Dr. Chen and Professor Demetrios, 03 p.m. Dr. Sarah Chen and retired botanist Professor Demetrios reached the island of Chios. Finding the saffron field wasn't difficult, but the problem was time. Saffron flowers would close after sunset. It was 06:30 p.m. The flowers had started to close. "We have to be fast," Sarah said. They bent down. They collected the flowers. They separated the stigmas, also known as stamens. But then the professor stopped. His eyes were staring into space. "Sarah, are you with me right now, or are you a ghost?" Sarah looked up. The amulet wasn't trembling. "Yes, I'm here. What happened? Did you see something terrible? Because 2 minutes ago, you were there, in the ruined house on the hill. You were looking at me through the window. Your eyes were yellow." Sarah's amulet began to tremble. "Demetrios, are you real? What was your biggest regret?" The professor smiled. "Of course, my biggest regret was not marrying Flora 40 years ago. But you, are you real? Could you be the one planning this madness on the ship?" Sarah backed away. The professor's answer was right, but Khnemu could access memories superficially. You are not him.
The real Demetrios would never say Flora's name to anyone. That was his private memory. The fake Demetrios' face shifted. First, it became Sarah's face. 2 Sarahs, facing each other. "You see," the fake Sarah said, "I can be you, and you can be me. No one can know the truth, not even your soul." The real Sarah pulled a small, sharp scalpel from her pocket. "Here's the difference," she said. "A real human, despite Khnumu's poison, bleeds." And she lightly cut her own hand. Bright red blood flowed onto her cloth. "Now you do it. Prove it." The fake Sarah smiled. "Clever, but this won't save you. Blood is a weakness." The spirit lunged at Sarah, but Sarah threw the saffron stigmas into the air. Dozens of pieces fluttered around. The spirit stopped. The stigmas were swirling around it. They had formed a kind of electromagnetic barrier. "Saffron disperses spirit energy," Sarah whispered. "Amara said so." The spirit screamed. It retreated. Sarah collected the stigmas and ran to the boat. Behind her, Professor Demetrios' body lay on the ground, motionless. The spirit had permanently defiled his body too. Team 3. Rhodes, Victor and Luis. 04 p.m. Engineer Victor and diver Luis reached a rocky outcrop near Rhodes. Their mission was to find the sea bindweed.
Luis put on his diving gear. "You wait up top, Victor," he said. "I'll be back in half an hour. The seabed is dark." He dove into the water. It was dark below, cold. Luis searched the corals with his flashlight. Then he saw it, a green, silky plant, Poseidon's vine, sea bindweed. As he cut the root, he saw something. Underwater, 15 meters away, a shadow. It was human-shaped, but it wasn't moving. It was just standing there, a dark silhouette. Luis's amulet began to tremble. He could feel the heat, even inside the waterproof casing. "No!" The shadow approached. Its speed was far beyond a normal diver's pace. Luis tore off the root and began to surface. But the shadow was following him, like a liquid. It touched Luis's leg. He felt something like electricity. But it wasn't painful. It was cold, the icy cold feeling of death. He surfaced. With his last breath, he shouted, "Victor, pull me up, now!" Victor maneuvered the boat closer. He pulled Luis in. But when Luis opened his eyes, he was different. The spark of life in his eyes was extinguished. "Luis, are you okay? What happened?" Luis smiled, that wide, sharp smile. "I'm fine, Victor, very fine. And we got the bindweed, no problems." But his voice had a high-pitched artificial echo. Victor's amulet trembled violently. It burned his hand. You are not Luis. Luis would know my last name. Do you know it?" "Of course I know it. Grigorovich." "But that won't save you." The fake Luis wrapped the bindweed in his hand around Victor's neck. Victor's body went rigid. Then he collapsed. The fake Luis got into the boat. He set off for the ship. He was taking the bindweed with him. Khnemu now possessed one of the 3 materials. Part 5. The showdown on the ship. 9 a.m. The teams return. The trust test. Elena returned first, exhausted, shattered, but alive. She gave the fur leaves to Amara. "We lost Juan. The spirit took his body, used it as a mask." The captain bowed his head. 2 people lost. We knew the risk, but it was necessary for the survivors. Then Dr. Chen arrived. She handed over the saffron stigmas. "Professor Demetrios, he's gone too.
Khnemu mimicked his memory, but it lacked the emotional depth. Everyone was silent. Then, Victor and Lewis's boat approached. Lewis showed the bindweed. "We got it! No problems!" The captain and James breathed a sigh of relief. But when Amara looked at Lewis, her amulet trembled violently. It was hot. Amara pulled her hand back. "Stop!" she shouted. Her voice echoed throughout the mess hall. Everyone turned. He is not Lewis. He is Khnemu himself." Lewis smiled, that wide, sharp smile. "Of course I am. Who else could I be?" Amara stepped forward. She took a sharp piece of rock. She cut her finger. Blood flowed. "Do this. A real human carries pain and blood."
Louis stopped. His smile vanished. "There's no need for this. This is a childish game." "Do it, or we shoot," James shouted, raising his rifle. Louis slowly reached out his hand. He took the rock. He cut his finger, but no blood came out. Only a dark, tar-like fluid seeped out, the concentrated form of the poisonous biological agent. Everyone backed away. Khnemu. The fake Louis, or the thing, began to laugh. "You are very clever, but it is too late now." Its body began to change. It elongated. It returned to a shadowy form. Khnemu. "The bindweed I brought is real," it said, "and now I am here among you, and I will take one more of you until all of you are mine." Then it merged with the wall. It vanished. The captain yelled, "Everyone stay together. No one be alone. Never leave the mess hall." 10 p.m., the final mixture and the sacrifice. Amara took the 2 remaining ingredients, fir leaves and saffron stigmas. She boiled them in a cauldron, on a low fire. The mixture turned a golden yellow color. This is the antidote. It will save the survivors from the poison, but it won't stop the spirit. To stop it, we must burn the mummy's heart, and we must do it. Its energy has weakened, but its power is still in its heart. James asked, "How will we do it?" "Khnemu is guarding the cargo hold. It will stop us when we approach. It can even possess one of us now." Amara thought. "There is a way. Khnemu cannot be everywhere at once. If we distract its attention, someone can reach the sarcophagus. How do we distract it? One of us must be the bait. Draw the spirit away. Draw it far away from the sarcophagus to the farthest point of the ship. The person who does this will be at high risk." The captain stepped forward. "I'll do it. I'm the captain of the ship. The responsibility is mine." "No," Elena said. Her eyes were teary, but her voice was determined. "You are the captain. The ship is your responsibility. I will do it." "Elena, I lost Juan. We lost Demetrios. Victor and Luis are gone. Someone has to pay the price. That person will be me. My amulets will draw Khnumu's attention." The captain looked into Elena's eyes and slowly nodded his head. 11 p.m. The bait plan and the attack. Elena went out onto the ship's deck. The amulet around her neck, the last powerful protective one Amara had given her, was glowing. The darkness of the night, the sound of the wind and the waves. "Khnemu," she shouted. Her voice was desperate but resolute. "I know you're here. Come and take me. Are you afraid? Or are you so weak that you can only enter sick bodies?" Silence. Only the waves. Then, a scratching sound came from the deck. A shadow emerged from behind the chimney. It was faceless. "Are you foolish to call me, Elena?" It whispered. Its voice was like the fusion of all the dead voices. Elena started running. She knew Khnemu would follow her. Her goal was to lure it away from the cargo hold. At the same time, Captain Marcus, Dr. Chen, James, and Amara infiltrated the cargo hold. James forcibly opened the electric clamps on the door. Inside, the sarcophagus was glowing. A dense, dark energy surrounded it. We have to be fast, the captain said.
Amara approached the sarcophagus. In her hand was a piece of cloth with ancient prayers written on it. Khenemu's power is protecting its heart. To break it, a sacrifice is needed. But that sacrifice is not the mummy. The captain tried to force the sarcophagus open. Captain, not the mummy! The heart is needed. We will only burn the heart. The captain forcibly broke the seals on the sarcophagus. The lid slowly opened. Inside lay a 3,000-year-old mummy, still frighteningly intact. Amara reached into the mummy's chest and removed the mummy's dried heart. The heart was like stone, but it still had a faint energy vibration. Now, we must burn it. 12 p.m., the end of the curse. Amara placed the heart in a special ceramic bowl. Just then, a scream was heard, Elena's scream. The bait had worked, but Khnemu was returning. It's coming! Hurry! James shouted. Amara threw the fir leaves and saffron stigmas into the bowl. Then she took off her own amulet. This will cut the spirit's link to the world. She threw the amulet onto the burning coals. Then she added the sea bindweed. Amara had secretly taken a small piece that Khnemu had forgotten when Luis arrived, into the bowl. The heart immediately burst into flames. Black smoke rose. At the same moment, all the lights on the ship exploded. Khnemu entered as a dark shadow. No! It screamed. Its voice was deafening. You cannot take my vessels! The spirit lunged at Amara. But the flames rose higher. The mummy's heart was pooling all of Khenemu's energy like a vortex. Khnemu screamed desperately. The screams of all those who had been shapeshifted, Juan, Demetrios, Victor, Luis, could be heard. Then Khenemu's shadow slowly began to melt. As the heart burned, the spirit also disappeared. 06:47 a.m., 24 hours later. 6:47 a.m., exactly 24 hours later. There was a silence over the ship. Khnemu was gone. The antidote was quickly prepared and given to the more than 200 survivors. The effect of the poison was linked to the spirit's energy. When the spirit disappeared, the poison began to lose its effect. Elena was found alive on the wrecked deck of the ship. Khnemu had caught her, but was forced to leave her body at the last moment when the heart burned. Captain Marcus steered the ship towards the nearest port. Amara had saved the poisoned. She had defeated Khnemu, but she vanished. When they reached the shore, she was no longer among the crew. The survivors would never know. Did Khenemu's last breath pass into Amara? Or was she a protector who came to stop this curse? In the ship's cargo hold, the sarcophagus remained empty, only the remains of a burned heart. The ghost and the game of death had ended. But in the dark waters of the Mediterranean, Khenemu's whisper remained forever. The ship that set sail with 347 people arrived at port with only 150.